Do you wanna build a snowman? Come on, let's go and play. Watching. Locked in. Not before to grab my coffee. Sorry, autofocus. Okay. Hey. How's it going, everyone? It's me, Wade. This is the behind the scenes video for PB Richards. I haven't done one of these in a little bit because I got in just a terrible car accident. Broke my femur, broke a bunch of bones in my feet, or just one foot. I said feet. I broke a bunch of bones in a foot, and so I haven't been able to do much of anything. So I kind of stopped making videos. So I owe you one of these bad boys for Fear Not, and I owe you one of these bad boys for Nautical Afterthought. I also probably owe you the decency of letting you know that, hey, sorry about my autofocus lens. It is not a video lens, and so it's just going wild. So there's going to be some clippy chippies. You know, if you want to buy me a better lens, I'll put in a link to my Patreon that I don't have. You can just email me. Email me a lens. Okay, so yeah, PB Richards came out earlier this week, and let's put the tiger on the table and yell at it. It's a weird song. It's got a weird title, and it's got weird lyrics. So let's talk about the title. Okay, so I titled the song what I titled it, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Except for maybe it does. Maybe it does make a lot of sense because the song is very cryptic and weird and has a lot of little hidden Easter eggs. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you. I fought with myself about whether or not I'd be honest about where the title came from in this video. So I'm going to be honest with you about where the title came from. I also am going to lie to you about where the title came from, and it will be up to you to decide which one is accurate. Okay, so PB Richards is actually the name of an antique dealer, I believe in New England, who sold, weird and eclectic curios. And so since this song talks about weird and eclectic things, I thought it kind of in and of itself was a weird eclectic curio, so we went with PB Richards. PB Richards is the name of the patch in the Nord Stage 3 that I originally wrote the song on. And then I just named the song PB Richards as a placeholder, and then it just stuck. PB Richards is an homage to my favorite artist, Phoebe Bridgers, who the song structure is based off of one of her tunes. PB Richards is the name of a cowboy warlock character that I played in Dungeons & Dragons. PB Richards is what I call peanut butter sandwiches. And then just that name stuck. PB Richards is when I'm wanting to go drink some PBRs, I say, I'm gonna have some PB Richards. There you go. There's the title. So as far as what this song is about, okay, so I think I probably talked about this in other videos. I don't want to tell you exactly what it's about on account of that might sort of that might sort of rob you of your ability to come up with your own interpretation. Big fan of a death of the author stuff. Whatever you think the song is about is what it's about. So I'm gonna tell you kind of the inspiration for it and what the song means to me. That does not mean that's what it has to mean to you. It can mean whatever you want. It can be whatever you want it to be. I'm doing great today. So this song is very much a companion piece to to Berlin, Texas. If you remember, Berlin, Texas was about having a friend who was going through depression and not being able to kind of get through that wall to communicate with them. PB Richards is sort of the inverse of that. It's about being in kind of a dark place and sort of a state of depression, and someone is trying to get through that wall. But often when one is in that state, it's hard to view those efforts as being helpful. It's hard to view those efforts as being anything other than kind of condescending and irritating. At least for me, that might not be everyone's experience. That is my experience. So that's this song. I kind of wanted to really focus on the person who's sort of in that dark space, feeling very, very alienated and very other and very different. And actually feeling somewhat frustrated with the efforts of other people to try to pull them out of that depression. I'm not advocating for that mindset. I don't think it's a healthy mindset, but I did want to write a song that reflected that. So the first verses really make that point. And then we get to the bridge. And the bridge was actually the first part of the song that I wrote. I think I have the original cell phone recording. It'll go right here. And if I don't, this is gonna be me awkwardly pointing down. Anyhow, but yeah, the bridge was the first part I wrote, and I've been listening to a lot of weird podcasts. I've been listening to a lot of Guide to the Unknown, which is one of my favorite podcasts, so I had cryptozoology and spooky, creepy things on the brain, and started thinking about how a lot of this is like, the connection that I made is all of these things that are kind of like mysterious and unreachable and unknowable. Somebody who's kind of almost reveling in their depression, almost enjoying it and almost feeling superior in it, might start to view themselves as being like extremely mysterious and extremely other and extremely unreachable. Again, not advocating for that mindset, but saying that mindset does indeed exist. And so just tying these things to like these ideas of things you can never fully grasp and understand, like Mothman and the Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and weather balloons, and there's also some lyrics in there that don't really mean much of anything. And what I was trying to do is kind of trying to create like a sense of dissociation. Like you're unable to grasp even the meaning of this section of the song. Which very much is like, speaks to my own, like, when I get into bad space, I am like sad and angry and upset, yes, but also I kind of get this elitism that's like, well, no one can understand because I'm so uniquely flawed. Again, not a healthy mindset. We're trying to like create that in the bridge, like, look, this bridge is indecipherable and unknowable. It's kind of pretentious, so I hope that doesn't ruin the song for you. But it's also, it's super fun to sing that part. I've done this song live a handful of times, and I don't think I've ever sung all the lyrics right because there's so many of them. But I really enjoy that bridge. Yeah, just kind of the mystery of another person and relating it to like mysteries that actually exist in the real world. I enjoy that bridge a lot. This song was written, as all of my songs lately have been. It was written on the Nord Stage 3, the greatest instrument of all time. Started with just kind of that like low pad, and then bringing a little bit of that mellotron, that flute sound coming in later. And it was actually originally written entirely on the Nord, and then I brought in the guitars later on in further edits. Yeah, it was super fun to write. I think is there anything really spectacular to mention about it? I don't believe so. The bridge took me forever to write because I had to get all my little ideas in there. And then we'll look at let's look at the countdown art. which is just I went on to Adobe Photoshop and I got I licensed 10 stock images, and then I put the code on there, and there's little text of the code in each on each image, and 2 people I think managed to crack the code, and that was a lot of that came from, again, the song is about feeling indecipherable and feeling unknowable, so I wanted to make something that also kind of felt that way, but also wasn't so complex and convoluted that it couldn't be solved. If you were to solve it, I'm not going to tell you exactly how to solve it, but each of the codes is a line from the bridge, the line that is associated with the image. So you know the picture of Loch Ness Monster, the code says the Loch Ness Monster in the frozen dark, or whatever that line is. I don't even know, I wrote the song, but I don't remember. So yeah, and that was I've always been real fascinated with like ARGs, like alternate reality games and things like that. And I have this grand ambition of someday making a very large, sweeping ARG, but I might be too confident in myself in doing that. But this is kind of like a fun step 1. 2 people solved it. Good on you guys. I wasn't sure anyone would, not because it was so brilliant, but because like when you're writing a puzzle from the back end, it can sometimes be hard to make it reasonable and not extremely impossible to solve. And that's not because it's not because I'm brilliant, it's just because that's sort of how writing puzzles is. Ask any dungeon master. What else is cool about this tune? Oh, the dolls? Yeah, the creepy dolls that are going to be coming out the days afterward, and also is in the cover art. That photo was taken by my sister, Sarah Jane Shaw, who is a wonderful artist. She has an Instagram page called In So Many Words Art. I'll put that down here. If I got it wrong, I'll correct it. I'll write it correctly somewhere around my face. But she does like typewriter art and sculptures and mixed media stuff. She does all kinds of really neat stuff. My aunt found, it's like a doll repair shop or a doll factory. I don't know what it was, but this lady was selling like hundreds and hundreds of just pieces of porcelain dolls. So there were all these like heads without eyeballs and torsos and arms, and so my aunt bought them because she knew my sister would find a use for them. So she packaged them up and she sent them to Boston, and my sister made creepy stuff out of them, and so she sent me that first picture and I said, oh, this is dope, can I use this? And so if you want to get pretentious with it, the doll fake appearance of a person can kind of represent the I'm putting on a good face, I'm putting out a show, I'm putting out an act of being okay when I'm not actually okay. And then all the plants blasting out of the head this is my interior life, which is kind of growing out of control. That's the pretentious interpretation. The reality is I looked at the picture and I liked it. So whichever one you want to be a part of. Anyway, that's PB Richards, the magnificent PB Richards. Okay, last time I did one of these, I'm not going to do a separate thank you video, just because, again, I'm injured and it takes a lot of time. So thank you to everybody who shared it, who's listened to it, who streamed it, who has sent it to their friends, who has followed on Spotify, who has done all the different things that's always super helpful for an artist. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for listening to the song, sharing the song, spreading the song about. I'm filming this the day after the release. We haven't hit 1,000 yet, but we have hit 400, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna hit 1,000 by the end of the week. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I love you, and I will see you guys real soon.